We're about 6 hours into a 10.5 hour drive from Memphis, North Carolina. Thought we'd bring you along and turn it into a film road trip. And the thing I want to accomplish in today's video is really, I'm trying to figure out which camera I want to keep and which one I want to either sell or maybe even give away. My name's Andrew. You can call me Pooch. I'd like to welcome you to the channel, and I'm really glad you're here. North Carolina is right behind me. Welcome. Who doesn't love a good road trip? They were, for the longest time, the unavoidable pastime for would-be adventurers, hodophiles, or mothers and fathers bringing their kids to grandma's house. And while we may have more options today, sometimes you can't beat a good old-fashioned road trip. And if counting trees is not your ideal way of passing time, then you may want to include a little bit of photography. And for today's road trip, I've got travel companions, my cameras, and a plan. So I've done this drive a couple times now. We are gonna take it really slow and try to snap as many photos on the way, but really what I wanna do is I wanna save them when we're in the Raleigh area tomorrow. We're shooting Portrait 800. I'm also shooting HP5, which is a 400 speed film. Now, listen, this is not a camera review. We're not reviewing the Canon AE1 program, or we're not reviewing the Pentax K1000. This is truly a feel thing. I've been talking so much about cameras recently that it's kind of driving me crazy. I want to use the things that I have. I've really been focused on Greg Williams lately. I think that he is just truly phenomenal. And his approach to photography and his philosophy of how to capture moments is really what's inspiring me to even consider letting one of these go. Use what I have. Said another way, don't be a poser. That's my goal. And we're gonna figure out just which one of these cameras is getting the boot by the end of this video. A life lesson to anyone out there: traveling alone is really fun. You go really fast. Traveling with someone, you go slower, but I think you can actually go a little bit further. So buckle in for a film photographer's road trip. We're in this together. Oh, and make sure not to skip ahead, or you're gonna miss out on all of the photos we snapped along the way. Avoid the spoilers. Audio speed. There's two things I want to address though before I move forward. If you're a film shooter, then you're probably thinking to yourself, why would he get rid of the AE1 program over the Pentax? The AE1 has so much more capability. Technically and spec-wise, it is a more proficient camera. But what I love about the Pentax is its simplicity. And that's what this is all about. It's about feel. It's not about specs today. How do we feel about the camera in our hands when we use it? Does it inspire us to take more photos, or does it sit on the shelf and collect dust? The streets of Raleigh were lit by a midday sun, casting crisp shadows and bathing us all in a golden light. Breaking down the feel of each camera, K1000 has nothing on it. It is as bare bones as you possibly get. I put this wrist strap on. I normally don't like straps, but it just made sense to kind of hang loose. Canon AE1 program has a battery, and that battery actually has a little cover that acts as a little grip. That's essentially designed just to make it easier to carry, so you can get away without using a strap. I do like how the Canon's shutter sounds snappy. Just spent the afternoon walking around downtown Raleigh and downtown Durham, and we are now in the complete opposite of what we were just experiencing. This is very polished and clean. We got to spend a lot of time in downtown, and I actually ended up meeting someone really special. The Real McCool is what he goes by. Apparently he's been a staple here in the city for a long time, and I got to photograph him, and he got to tell me some stories about his experience with MLK, Malcolm X, his experience being in Durham for over 65 years. It was an honor to snap his photos. He did say, though, that he normally charges for photos, so I had to hit the ATM and hit him up with a little something for letting me take some pics. But overall, great experience so far. I think we're gonna try to get into some nature here in a little bit. Oh, lunchtime. After a quick lunch, it was off to the beautiful Duke Gardens, where even in the middle of January, there is beauty to be found. So far, I've shot about 22 frames on the AE1, and I'm looking at 23 frames on the K1000. I want to take a moment to talk about this mentality shift I want to have. It's really easy to want to talk about cameras and what they're capable of, but I've noticed something. People have such strong feelings when it comes to talking about a camera. I posted a video last week about the X100V. A lot of praise, which is great. The X100V also just gets a lot of love right now on the internet. But then I was also met with some really wild responses. People being so frustrated that I bothered to talk about it, or so mad that I didn't include a certain mention of what it could do or why I didn't recommend certain cameras over the X100V because, the X100V is overhyped or, it's ruined because of TikTok. As a photographer, as a professional in this industry, I will say this, I understand how frustrating it is. When photography people on the internet talk about cameras, it can be frustrating, especially when these cameras are hard to get. So what if as photographers, we talked about cameras as tools practically in the field? I just really want creatives to consider all the possibilities. Just because a camera is hyped doesn't mean it's bad. Just because a camera isn't hyped doesn't mean that it's bad either. Got a couple more days, so hopefully we'll have a better idea as to which one of these is staying and which one of these is going to be given away. This black and white thinking is going to divide the creative community of photographers. I shudder to think what the likes of Sergio Lorraine or Vivian Mayer would say if they scrolled through today's YouTube comment section. And though we may not know exactly what they might say, I could take a guess. It starts with an F and ends with a U. My hope is that they would encourage us to stay the course, to uncover moments with our lenses like the rising sun uncovers the day from night. To me, photography is a window, a passageway to memory, filled with sights, sounds, smells, and emotions. And each memory can be traced back to the camera I held in my hands. And now we've arrived to the point of the story of the journey where we're sitting here wondering, which camera am I going to pick? Before I make any final decision, though, I wanted to share with you something that hit me as I was snapping these photos. And actually, after it was done, I wasn't thinking about the camera. I was thinking about the photo. In my head, I was picturing how it might look when it's developed. And as a print, what would that look like? Making photos, capturing memories, all of that is so rewarding. My hope for you is that whatever camera helps you make the photo is the one that you're going to want. So now the time has come. Which camera am I going to go with? I think I'm going to go with the Pentax. It just feels better in my hand. The AE1 has all of the right sauce. It's got a better light meter. It's got the self-timer. It's got everything that you should want. So that's that. You surprised? You not surprised? I'm somewhat surprised, but I know that the AE1 can go to a good home. You might see it for sale on my Instagram if you follow me. And if you want it, let me know. If you want to feel less lonely on your creative journey, if you want to feel like there's someone here to inspire you, to support you, to give you guides and tutorials, then I recommend you subscribe to this channel. It would mean a lot to me, and I hope that it would mean a lot to you as well. All right, time to go. Peace. And there you have it, folks, a Film Photographers Road Trip. Oh, and one last thing. I am making room in my camera bag. More on that later.
It's a dream. It's so fun. It feels so good in the hand. It feels